Hey guys, and welcome back to another Let Me Explain video. So today we're going to be talking about Godzilla 2014, and this is inspired by the recent release of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire. The title of this video is Godzilla 2014 Deserves Praise, and the reason I want to talk about this specifically is due to the recent release of Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, where I feel like the discourse around this film has very much been that monster films are dumb and they'll always be dumb, and we should just enjoy them for what they are, dumb. Well, I'm here to say that that is not true, and not only is there evidence of this beyond their own films, but even within their own Monsterverse, the very first film, Godzilla 2014, is a complete contradiction of this statement that monster films are dumb. And that's not even to mention the most iconic monster films in the past, namely Jurassic Park or Jaws or Alien, absolute standout films in the history of film that, obviously prove that you can have a monster-oriented film that is phenomenal. And whilst I obviously don't put Godzilla 2014 in the same category as those amazing films, to me it is still a good film in its own right. I'm not here to say that it is a perfect film. I'm not even here to analyze and talk about what's so amazing about it. I'm just here to simply say that it was a good, solid film that really took itself seriously and isn't just this dumb monster bash that just resorts to just, spectacle and imagery the whole time just to justify its own existence. No, I think there's more to it than that, and I'm going to talk about that today. So I've narrowed it down to 4 key reasons as to why monster films aren't always dumb, and I'm going to talk about Godzilla 2014 today to prove exactly why. Starting off, number 1 is character-driven plot. So there's a lot of discourse these days about these Monsterverse films, the most recent ones, that it's not about the humans, we're only there to see the monsters fight each other. We don't care about the human stories. It's not about them. Why are we talking about them? Blah, 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 blah. This film was not like that at all. This first Godzilla film that's in the same universe as these recent Godzilla Kong ones. It's the same Godzilla. And yet the whole story, it really starts off with a tragedy. Bryan Cranston and Juliette Binoche, they have a kid, and Juliette Binoche's character dies at a nuclear power plant. And the dad, is wondering all these years, he's reading about it, trying to figure out what caused it. And, he's kind of conspiracy theorist, all the kind of things. And he digs into it and finds out what it was. And they discovered the Muto, obviously. And that leads to his death too. And so you have tragedy in this film from the beginning. You have the young man who's now Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character, who's lost both his parents, one from when he was a kid and one now recently. And so there's actual tragedy in this film, and it's very much driven by those starting off events. And now with Aaron Taylor-Johnson's character, he is a military man who has a wife and child of his own, and he's basically, his whole mission is to get to them and protect them. Like, he does not care really. He wants to save the world, but his main mission is to get back to them and to protect them. It is a family-oriented film first and foremost, and it's driven by those characters. Now, I'm not going to argue that there's some amazing characters here. Bryan Cranston's character, I think, is a standout, and it was a shame that they did kill him so early. But that said, they're solid characters. They're not amazing, but they're solid enough to drive a narrative forward that's not just about monsters smashing each other. Number 2 is concealment. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, namely about Jurassic Park or Jaws or other films, you'll know how much of a fan I am of the idea of concealment. I think it's my favorite film technique I'll find in any film is where you have an amazing draw card and a card up your sleeve that is going to bring the audience's attention, but you don't reveal it straight away. In fact, you don't even reveal it for a while. You let the tension build and build and build so that when it is finally revealed, it makes that much more of an impact. And this film does exactly that. Godzilla is not revealed in his full form. You see, his spine and things like that at certain moments, or you see the waves in the water, but you do not see him at all till the 57-minute mark. And this film, by the way, is only 1 hour and 58 minutes long. So it's literally at the halfway mark that you get that full shot of him about to take on the Muto and his, iconic roar. So that's fantastic. I love that kind of filmmaking. To me, that's very reminiscent of my favorite film, Jurassic Park. The T-Rex is withheld in that film for the first hour, as I've mentioned many times. And it makes his entrance so much more impactful when he does arrive after 1 hour instead of just being there throughout the whole film. And to me personally, I really appreciate concealment because I feel like I'm being treated as an adult when I'm watching a film. I'm not being spoon-fed everything every 5 minutes, just to get my attention going again. So I feel like it's trusting the audience to say, stick with me here, just follow what's going on. There's going to be payoffs coming. Just follow this and you'll appreciate it that much more with the tension that you've built up along the way. So I appreciate the hell out of that, and I love that about this film. Number 3 is size and scale. So I think one of the things that's definitely been lost in the recent Monsterverse films is size and scale, because you're just seeing these monsters bashing each other, crashing into buildings, destroying everything around them, and they're moving at such a fast pace that they lose their whole sense of size. Because, you know, in this first Godzilla film, 2014, the Muto and Godzilla have very kind of slow, lumbering sort of movements, where when you're seeing them fighting each other, crashing into buildings, it's much slower. And so that creates weight, that creates, you know, that creates an aura around them, that they are so huge. Whereas when they're just moving really fast and moving essentially as quick as humans do, they lose all sense of like a scale. It's completely gone. So that to me was really impressive in this film too, the way that they were able to, you know, hover for a moment on a camera angle to show how their size and their scale. You know, I think of the shot of Godzilla's foot landing in front of that airport with the fire going off everywhere. Like that's a brilliant shot there that just shows his impact and his size. The fourth and final criteria are the visuals. So this film has stunning visuals all the way throughout. I mean, you just think about all the iconic moments that they see on screen, that slow motion spin that Godzilla does in the fog, in the mist. And then you think about even where the parachutists are gliding down, passing through that battle between Godzilla and the Mutos. And even the Mutos as well, just those shots of them kind of just like crawling over the city. There's so many fantastic shots throughout. Like it's really beautifully shot, this whole film. So it's so impressive to see. And, you know, you just compare that to the recent Godzilla and Kong films where they're flying through zero gravity, just punching each other. There's nothing iconic about that. Whereas this one really takes its time to set up a shot, and it pays off brilliantly. So yeah, this film has amazing visuals. So that's the 4 key points that I wanted to cover. I mean, look, I want to make it clear, this is not a perfect film. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's a great film, but it's a good Godzilla film, and I really like it. And I think it just really shows how these more recent Monsterverse films have really just gone astray, where they just completely abandoned any idea of like anything intelligent or anything that's worthwhile seeing, or that's been had like investment put into it. Just really just dumb action on the screen. There's nothing more to it than that. Whereas I feel like the first Godzilla film really promised to this universe to be a lot more. It could have been so much more with what is set up in that one, with just a lot more kind of reverence for like appreciating good filmmaking that was on display. But anyways, we got what we have now, but we'll still always have Godzilla 2014. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say for now. I'm not going to dwell too much more on it than that. Hope you enjoyed this video, guys, got something out of it. I'd really appreciate it if you leave your comments down in the comment section below. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.